just start into a natural conversation, and that's how it goes. So, excuse me, I've been a bit sick. So today we are joined by the Lithuanian player, often mistaken for as a Russian player by the name of eThaD. He is been in the CPM community for a very, very long time, and probably one of the only people that's ever gone to a CPM LAN event that's had kind of some serious contenders playing. He's been a part of the CIS, I want to say, but more commonly known as Promode RU for a very, very long time. Oh, people saying my mic is too low. Okay, 1 second. Give me a second. Okay, so I mic boosted my microphone. It should be better now. Okay, so as I was saying, eThaD, he's also known as Death. I think some people call him as Death, and sometimes he used the alias in-game CPM1A. He's been in the community for a long time and has traditionally been part of the PM.RU community, the Promode.Russia community, and because of the way the CPM community has kind of developed over the past 15 to 20 years, there's been a way in which the PM.RU community has been somewhat disconnected, sometimes just passively, sometimes a little bit more adversarial from the CPM.EU and CPM US scenes. Whereas the US and the European community, I think just because there's English is the kind of the standard language between the two continents, have just known each other a lot better, I think. So today we're going to be discussing a few things. First, before I continue talking, I will have eThaD introduce himself, give us an idea of who he is, how long he's been playing, and then we will, once he kind of gives us an idea of his history, we'll start off from one of the earliest points I could find, which is DreamHack 2008. And then we'll move on to his DeFi career, which I wasn't as familiar with, and then we'll talk about Promode Russia, and then we'll have some rapid-fire questions that I have and some community questions that people have entered. So, eThaD, thank you very much for coming today. Welcome. Please give us an introduction of who you are, how long you've been playing, how you got introduced to CPMA, that sort of stuff.
Right, yeah, hi, thanks for inviting me. That's kind of a new experience for me, I guess. So, yeah, I live in Lithuania, in Vilnius, already for 10 years. Yeah, I've lived in a smaller town before. Luckily, we had an internet. We have internet all over the country, and it's kind of good. So this allowed actually me to play over the internet because there was no one to play CPM in Lithuania with. So I was the only guy for a long time. So I started playing Quake at around 2001 maybe, 2000. Yeah, this was I was playing Quake 1 or Quake 2 in local area network. So yeah, the first experience was you had to find some way guys who you can play with, call them by phone and schedule a game. Yeah, you have to share IP addresses and stuff like this. Things changed with Quake 3 a little bit. Yeah, in 2002, I guess, or something like this. And I was lucky enough to actually have a computer that was giving 60 FPS in Quake 3, so I could play it. So I was doing multiplayer also inside, with people from my from my small town. I was taking part in some tournaments in Quake 3, and yeah, I wasn't actually good in OSP. So, and at that time, I have actually found a thing called DFRAC in one of the game magazines, and I've tried it. I've installed it. I was playing the default list of maps that was in the package in the archive. So yeah, and also I've seen a video. I think it was some guys from Noobs Anonymous or like someone, I don't remember how it's called, but it was showing the movement on the default CPM maps. It was quite old movie, and yeah. And I've tried and started to ask guys from my town, like, what the hell is this? And one of them actually knew that this was a CPM thing. And I did a little research, and I found that there is a Promode site, and they actually have an IRC channel. So since there was no one to play with in my city or in Lithuania at all, I've joined their community, installed the IRC client, and joined the community there. Was playing a lot, building my skill set. Yeah, then taking part in CTF games. Then it was so yeah. I was playing one-on-ones and TDM. I was subbing someone of their Promode RU team in the league. Then I found out the CTF and the pickups, so I started to play in Europe. That was quite awesome experience. It was one of the last years since in high school for me, so I still had a lot of free time. And yeah, so in parallel I was playing eThaD a lot, and I was taking part in from the time I started playing eThaD, I was taking part in all the eThaD world competitions, like World Cups. It was quite interesting and quite important, quite interesting experience also, And I've actually also seen the skill involvement. I've started to play better over time, and it takes a lot. It took actually a lot of time for me. So yeah, this is my basically a Quake career, the start of a Quake career. And the time when I came to CPM, it was actually there was a release of 1.3 or something or 1.2 version of CPMA. So yeah, there was a community split, and then a lot of people left because they enjoyed playing 1.11, and yeah.
Okay, wow. So you actually touched on quite a lot. And I was making some notes here. When you first started playing, it sounds like it was quite difficult to get a game. A lot like it is now. Has it been funny seeing this kind of transition where it was really difficult to find a game, and then the game explodes in terms of popularity? And then it's really easy to find a game. You're able to play a lot of games. And now in 2017, you're kind of going back to that earlier time in terms of finding a game.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
a bit ironic. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, as I said, the peak of popularity was before I joined, actually. When I in parallel, I found that Promode RU channel in IRC, but I was joining the Russian servers, and there was constantly someone playing, so you could find a duel quite easily. You can just stay on a server, and then someone comes around, and you just play. And you know that this guy is not randomly came here because he has a CPMA, so he wants to play CPM. So he's not just some random guy. He knows what that. He knows what this game is. So I was playing with people like this. It wasn't that hard, or I was yeah.
Yeah, well, when you were talking about Quake 1 and Quake 2, you said just because there were so few people that lived in your town, you had to call people and get things. That sounds a little bit like it is today. You kind of have to do things in advance. It seems because it's hard to find public games.
Yeah. This is That was that was for quite a long time, for like a year or something, until there was like dedicated servers in the local area network. So
Yeah.
basically, we had like 3 ISPs in our city, and I was in one of the ISPs that had not many people in it, like
Okay.
not many people connected. And then it was bought by a different ISP, which was more crowded. Like there were more people.
Okay.
They had their Quake servers when you can play free for all, and it was already like a good move towards that. But yeah, the thing that the pickup bots that were in CPM, and they are now like in IRC, and they are now those bots in Discord, is like it's actually an awesome thing. And it's like it makes your life
Yeah.
much easier when
Yeah.
you have no matchmaking.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they also matchmaking takes a little bit of like the responsibility away from the small communities, because people could like play really bad, people could play bad on purpose, and there's nothing you can really do as a community. You play matchmaking again, and then the game just decides to kind of force you to play with them or against them again. Whereas with these, I think with smaller communities, things like pickups and finding a way to keep things social, I think is more important, because you develop kind of relationships and friendships, so you actually want to play the game for more than just playing the game. Whereas I find in matchmaking games like Overwatch, after 2 games or a game, I don't want to kind of play until the next day at earliest.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember the earliest tournament you entered?
Which one? What?
Do you remember the first tournament you ever played in?
Yeah, I've lost the first game. It was CPN 3.8, but I don't remember. I think it was
What year?
in Quake.
In Quake, just generally in Quake. Because you said you played some OSP before as well, right?
Oh yeah, I played some OSP. I think my first tournament was in Quake 2. It was in our city. So I think it was 3 against 3 tournament.
You had a team?
Yeah. Sort of. Like we were playing with classmates,
Okay.
basically. So yeah.
How many teams were in the tournament? Do you remember?
Actually, I don't remember.
Did you guys win?
No.
Win anything?
No.
Win a game?
No, I don't think so. I think we lost. The first game, and we were.
Was
out.
it TDM or like Clan Arena?
Clan Arena. Like I learned what Clan Arena is like much later.
Okay.
So no, it was a Quake 2. I am not sure if there was a Clan Arena in Quake 2. I didn't ever tried it. If it's there, but yeah.
Once Quake 3 came out, you started off with OSP. Is that right?
Yeah.
How did you like OSP, or what did you dislike about OSP?
Well, it was okay. Actually, everything was fine. You just keep playing it, learn new things, like try playing against some stronger opponents. That's quite okay. The thing, like you start feeling the difference when you try CPM, and then you cannot get back like to OSP because like shaft doesn't hit and the netcode is bad, and it's just the technical part like is not very good in OSP. That's the time I started to really like. I don't want to say dislike, but yeah, sort of dislike and OSP, and I was totally turned towards CPMA. Like, yep.
Is it just the movement? Was there something about OSP, like in terms of gameplay, you didn't like? Because earlier you'd said you just weren't good at it. Was there anything in specifically that kind of prevented you? Because now that you look back at it at CPM, you've probably been maybe the best Eastern European player in CPM ever. Are there any really other ones that can kind of have done as well as you have? I don't really think so, right?
There were a few guys in Russia that were very, very good. Like, remember Pico, for example?
Pico, yes.
Who was like destroying everyone. I think he won some tournaments in Europe also. Yeah. There was Poops, who was also very, very good. He was like running over me for like for some time. So there were some great players, and we can see now that there is, for example, Veliars and Lunahod who are like quite good. Yep.
Yes. I think, actually, that's an interesting question, and we'll get to this later, because where do you think ES ranks in this? Because for some reason, just because he doesn't play in tournaments, he usually isn't mentioned. But, I've seen ES beat everybody, on any map.
Really? I haven't played with him.
I've seen him beat Gaia, I've seen him beat Hal,
That's kind of interesting, because he's not a part of Promode RU community at all.
Yes.
He's I think he was here, but
there was some drama. Something happened, and he became more a part of the CPM.eu community.
Yeah, so I think I maybe played him, but it was before the drama, so he was just a newcomer. Yep. So.
But now he's pretty beastly. Now that I think about it, he might be one of the best Russian players. Because technically you're not. I mean, you aren't Russian, but of the Russian players, he might be the best Russian player ever.
Yeah.
And he's really good. So it's interesting that you found Defrag in a game magazine, because I don't think I could imagine anything related to Quake in a game magazine in 2017. So it was a completely different world that you lived in at that point. You don't remember the CPM video that got you into it, but do you remember your first experiences in CPM?
I don't think so. Yeah, I remember it was mostly CPM 1A games.
Do you remember what year it may have been around?
Sorry?
Do you remember what year it may have been?
Not really 2003 and 2003 maybe 2004.
Okay. Do you remember your first CPM tournament?
Yeah, the CPM tournament. I was. Yeah, it was. I think the organizational site where it was in Quake or in game something. It was called something like this. I think it was in game. So they had the tournament. It was a duel tournament. Yeah, and I was also out in the first match. Yeah, and that was for my first experience playing with the Europeans.
Okay.
Also, yeah. So yeah. Then yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah. You go ahead. Yep.
How long did it take you before you got to as good as you did? Because you became kind of really exceptional at a couple of things from what I've seen, and one of them was really, really good movement, and another thing was your aim while you were moving is usually strong and stronger than a lot of people's. There's a difference between kind of a stationary aim where you're just kind of standing still and shooting, and then kind of chasing and moving, and some people are good at both, and some people are only good at one, unfortunately. But you're really good at kind of chase. How did you kind of develop these skills? Because, you first start off with these tournaments, and you're getting knocked out immediately, you're not really putting up much of a fight. What did it take to get as good as you did?
I was actually practicing a lot. I was playing, well, I had a lot of free time, so after lessons in the high school and in the university also, I wasn't one of those guys who were going to all the sessions in university. So I was just sitting home, playing Quake, watching TV series and playing more Quake. So I was practicing a lot, and I actually didn't I wasn't ever a good player at all. There was no I haven't noticed when the progress actually came. The idea was that I was just playing and I was losing to best Russian players at that time. For example, Zanuch or Slim. I was losing to Poops, and I was the Pico was very great. And I was losing to all the top players like Acid, I think, and Dream. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was losing to them, and it was hard time. So I was in a second division. If you divide all the players, so I was more second division player, someone
okay.
on the edge of somewhere between first and second maybe. So and then 2008, was it 2008? Like the DreamHack time. Just before DreamHack, I just realized that I was like um, winning a lot of people. It wasn't that hard, and after DreamHack, that confidence was even greater. So yeah, I was just practicing. I actually didn't do any analysis of my own demos. I was like I was doing this very rarely, like rewatching my games or other people games. So I was just probably doing, playing and doing mistakes and trying not to do them again after some time. Yeah, so this was the way. And regarding the aim, I was actually thinking that I'm like the worst the worst aimer in the top top CPMA in top CPM.
Yeah.
So yeah, that you're saying that I was like quite good at moving and shooting.
Well,
so
every time I've watched you, like I've always been kind of not surprised necessarily. Like, listen, there's people that have just really ridiculous aiming, but your aim has always been like, especially when you've been chasing people and you've been always hit like a lot of shots. Because I find it's not just, like Gaia standing still. Gaia's different because he can do everything, but there's a lot of players that when they're just kind of standing still and having a very direct aim fight with the other person, like their aim is very good, but other people, like, their aim while they're moving is really good, and especially when it comes to chasing people. So that, I don't know. That's from what I've seen. I'm not necessarily saying you have the best aim ever, but that is something that I've noticed from watching the demos I've seen. I've been able to find of yours. DreamHack 2008 is kind of interesting because it's, I think, the last time there was a CPM LAN really, and it's been pretty much 10 years since then. Can you tell us, I guess, how kind of you heard about DreamHack 2008, why you ended up going, and what that experience was like, and then we'll try to find some more funny stories in there.
Well, the preparation was quite easy. Like how I decided is like there is a guy Lisk from Latvia, so he was also a part of Russian community.
Yep.
So we were just talking about when we saw the announcement of the DreamHack.
Yep.
It was in winter, like in December, I think, or something like this. Yeah. So he just asked me want to go together, and I said okay, let's try to do this because it was a 2008, and I was a student. I haven't had like a lot of money, so but we were lucky actually because the plane tickets were quite cheap. Like it costed something like that time we were flying from Riga from Latvia, so it was like 1 lat, which is like for a ticket and some taxes. And 1 lat is like €1.5. So it was
wow.
And then you go, but then you have to pay like all the some taxes, and it was like €30 more, something like this. So it wasn't that expensive.
No, not at all. Even that's cheap still.
Yeah, so I think so. I was like searching. We have found a quite cheap hostel in Jönköping, which was like 1 hour or 1.5 hour of walking from the venue. So we had to go in the evening, like in the night after DreamHack day.
Wait, you guys were walking an hour to the venue from your hostel every day?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Because like the DreamHack
winter
is
in Sweden.
Yeah, it's huge actually, and all the hostels were like already reserved, or like all the prices were high, because like comparing to the prices back then, it's like almost 10 years passed. Like Lithuania switched to euros, all the prices went up, and even comparing to now, Sweden is quite expensive country. It's like everything's 2, 3, 4 times more expensive than in Lithuania.
And there was no Uber back then.
No. No. So one of the most expensive things was the hostel we were living in, and also a bus ticket. So we were like trying to find a cheap way to get from Stockholm to Jönköping. So one of the most convenient ways was a train. Like there were quite fast trains, but they were so expensive for us. So we decided to take a bus.
Okay.
We were like going by bus for 5 hours, one way. So yeah, but it was quite interesting. I think it was my first trip alone to like
A foreign country.
to a foreign country. Yep.
Did you play in the tournament? Because you know what, unfortunately there isn't a lot of information left about that tournament. The only thing that's been left is the top 4. And if I remember correctly, you are not in the top 4. Did you play? And who did you play? Who did you beat? Who did you lose to?
Okay. So the tournament was. So there were actually 2 LAN tournaments, like in DreamHack. The one in the winter, and the next one was at DreamHack at summer. So I was playing the winter one, and there were like almost 16 players there, but only 9 were from the CPM community. All the others were just random people from the LAN event or from Quake World, because they were like DreamHack. They were organizing Quake World tournaments in a DreamHack also. So
yeah, there were 9. At least 9.
So there were 9 players that I can name them now. It was Fox. It was Lugia, PL1. Was it PL1? No, I think it was Pod 1. Yeah, and me, Lisk, Spiteman, Voodoo Chopsticks.
Yep. Toxter.
Toxter, yeah.
Exurge. And Blaze.
Yeah, I think Blaze was the organizer.
Yep.
I'm not sure if he played, but he was organizing all the stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Blaze didn't actually play. Okay, I counted him as one of my CPM players because he was a part of the team. But you're right, I guess Fox. Yeah. That's interesting. You consider Fox a part, or you mean to say they played CPM before?
Really, maybe he. I'm not sure. Well,
Fox is mainly known as a VQ3 player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Before the tournament, I actually didn't know that Fox was playing. How was he? How good he was? So I remember, like in my group, I think I played Pod 1. He took the first place because I lost to him. So I took second place in the group. Okay. And we were talking after the group stage that we didn't know who were gonna play the next day. And I think I was talking with Toxter, and I was saying that, actually I would like to play Fox, because I think he's not a CPM player, he's an OSP player, so he's probably not that good, so he's probably gonna be the weakest first place of the group. And I was playing Fox, and Toxter said he was like training a lot, and he was very, very good.
Yes.
He was like, he was thinking that he's gonna win. So, like, the Fox is gonna win. So, yeah, I was playing Fox, and he was good. And we were playing 2 maps, so I think he picked the CPM 15, and I took the CPM 24. So he was like just on CPM 24. He was like standing at the same place and like shafting me to death, like without any chances. So I had no idea what to do, even though it was my pick, and I was playing, and I was quite good. I thought I was quite good at this map because it was the default map on all the servers in the new version of CPMA.
Yeah.
And I was playing it a lot with everyone, and nobody actually played well there because, I don't know, everyone used to CPM 1, CPM 3, and CPM 22. So I considered I was like very good at CPM 24, so this was my map. So I took it and I lost without any chances, and I was playing, and when we were playing CPM 15, it was quite a close game, I would say, but I was extremely nervous. And Fox, he's like, to that point, he had like already a lot of years of LAN tournament experience, and
he was a champion already.
Yeah, so So I was very nervous. My hands were very shaky. And yeah, I was quite surprised that the game was close, and it was quite an interesting game, I think. That was the point that I thought that maybe I'm not that bad in CPM. Yeah,
No, not at all, and I don't blame you. You said earlier you had come, I think, after the 1.2 had come out, and the split had happened between PM2 and the old PMC community. The
Yep.
thing is, in the old PMC community, Fox used to play a lot of CPM, or at least he used to play in a lot of the tournaments, and he would always surprise people by beating players that nobody thought he could, and he would just crush them with his rail lane. Or his
Really?
LG. Yeah, no, it was, Fox has been playing CPM at least since about 2001 or 2. So, by the time you play him in 2008, Fox had already played and done well in CPM for quite a few years. He was part of a European clan called Styles Unknown. They were a big team, and I think Faz was in it, and a couple of other, that was the Promode squad that they were running with, because there was just a lot more tournaments back then. Who do you remember who else was in your group at DreamHack 2008?
I think I had one or two guys. I think one was from Quake World, and one was just a random guy. So
Easy games.
easy games. There was only one. So since there were 9 players that were from CPM community, so I think there was a game that the only CPM player could could not make it to a playoffs. I think it was Spiteman playing with someone for a decider, who's gonna fall off in the group stage, and
Yeah.
but I don't remember who actually made it to playoffs. Yep. So yep.
Were the other CPM players surprised that Fox won? Was, for example, I imagine Toxter and Pod1 or Poddy, and maybe even Lugia, had come in with the expectations of probably winning. Do you remember ever speaking to any of them? I guess you already said, I think with Toxter he'd already practiced and he knew he was strong. But what about Pod1 and Lugia? Did they know how strong Fox was, or did they say anything about that game?
I don't remember, but I could guess that actually we were practicing. I was practicing with Russian players, and they practicing duels, and they were practicing in Europe, with the European guys. So I think they might have known that Fox is actually very, very good. It wasn't a surprise, but I'm not sure.
Now at that DreamHack there was a couple of other big name VQ3 players there. Jibo was there, Avek was there, Strengths was there. Did any of them ever try CPM, or did anyone else try CPM?
They didn't try to play. Actually, they didn't register for a tournament, and I don't think they were trying it. The only not at this tournament, but I think at some tournament there was Wu playing against CZM in CPM, but I don't remember what this tournament was.
There was a push-up competition that Spiteman and Lugia entered in. Did either one of them win?
Sorry, I don't remember. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, I definitely know Spiteman. I haven't. I don't know what happened to that guy. So once you started with OSP, then you came to CPM. Around what time do you start playing defrag, and what kind of got you into defrag, and what kind of kept you at defrag? Because I've tried defrag and I just find it too frustrating to play mode for more than 5 minutes.
I think it was either a little bit before CPM, or I think it was even before CPM I started to play. Yeah. I'm not sure. It was quite interesting from the point of view of movement, like what you do in OSP or in CPM, and what you can actually do if you master the movement. What are the possibilities in Quake, that you can do all those 2 XRGs, like triple rocket jumps and strafing and actually going fast and without losing speed, all those plasma climb tricks. And I was watching those trick movies, and it was kind of fascinating. So I was like, yeah, that thing was interesting. The other thing probably was that, yeah, you're just playing, you try to get a better time, and you can actually relax sometimes. Like, this is more like a playing defrag, it's like a trance, so you're like trying to, the route, like what you should do, and you just need to do this, and you're like, can sometimes do it semi-automatically, just trying to do the thing and trying to get the best trajectory and the best speed, which is like not this is not stable thing, so you have to like master it. So yeah, I don't know, like trying to beat someone else's records was also quite challenging and quite motivating sometimes.
How's I mean, you've been in the defrag community for a long time now. How has that community changed, and how has defragged and people's approach to runs changed over the past 10 or so years?
So
people getting better, for example.
Yeah. Okay. So it was the community was smaller, and there were like some extremely great guys that everyone thought that they were cheaters and stuff like this. That was kind of interesting. It was more multinational than now. So over time, and CPM arrived to defrag later than VQ3. So in first tournaments, like in first defrag World Cups, the CPM skill was quite low, but over time the skill in CPM evolved just insanely. It's just and people learning stuff much faster, maybe because they have more articles or just more tools to do this. But yeah, and one of the most important things that happened to defrag actually, which probably made the community a little bit closer to like people in the community to each other, is going to online, because defrag was a offline mode, so you were playing offline alone all the time, and you were setting records and sending them somewhere, and like if you're like top one, you get to the top of the table. So then you like chat in the forums or something like this, or someone in IRC, but then someone made a server which was with some decent settings, so you could actually play online and set some records. So people started to play online, and there are like now it's like 15 servers all around the world, I think, where you can play, and talk to each other. Like there are different physics, and you play some map. You can vote some random map. Yeah, there were the community. Yeah, and it's now more if you check what's like the defrag World Cup table of like different World Cup that goes on now. It's like a lot of CIS people, so a lot of people from Russia, Ukrainians, Belarusian, and it's much less from Europe. But there are still very, very strong guys in Europe. And yeah, the skill is going up insanely. Even if you compare like two last defrag World Cups, the one before was 3 years ago, and this time all the maps are much more complex, much more like it requires more skill. If you want to take the same place as you took, like as you were placed the last time, to get there, it's like it requires much more skill, because there are so many talented players who have time and motivation to improve. Yep.
Sorry, I had a question here in mind. I completely forgot it. Oh, defrag's had some interesting controversies in the past, with people cheating and stuff. How prevalent is that sort of behavior inside the defrag community?
it's
I can't think of
I,
any specific examples, to be honest with you, but I know I've seen on Yes Reality a few times over the past few years of like big name defraggers being caught like cheating or hacking.
yeah, sort of.
How
It's
do?
like
Sorry, go ahead.
the thing is like I haven't seen any like proofs that it's 100% like true that
Okay.
even the most legendary like cheater West, yep, from Germany, who was
Right,
like
right.
there was a lot of speculations that he's a cheater. He's like there are some cheats that it's quite expensive, quite complicated to prove that you are actually cheating. For example, a lot of people were saying about that you are actually he was actually building his runs from a different parts. I don't know how this thing works, but I would expect that he's actually recording his moves like in the different parts of the map, and then plays everything together. So to have a perfect run. I'm not sure how this thing works. Like some other people were saying that he was actually like doing a time scale runs. So basically, he uses time scale to slow down the time to make his
Understood.
moves more perfect, and then he hides this fact from the demo somehow. And when you play the demo, you don't even see this actually that there was something changed. Yeah. There were
Sorry.
some players, for example, there was a suspicious things with happening with Kos. He's also a German player. He improved very very fast. Well, at those days, it seemed very fast. He like raced in like 2 or 3 years to from total beginner to one of the best CPM runners. Yeah, and there was some suspicion moves from his side in one of the demos, as he was like trying to prove that he's not a cheater, like recording videos and stuff like this. And even those videos were suspicious. But there was there were some. There was a guy with with a nick DYXXX from Russia.
Okay.
He won of the maps in Defrag World Cup, and then it was proved that he was a cheater, but I don't remember what he actually done. But yeah, he was disqualified from the cup, and yeah, and he was like one of those guys who's still sort of active, and he writes he doesn't play, I think. He just writes comments in defrag are you, and everyone's just always telling him that he's a cheater, and go away, stop writing stuff.
Uh,
But yeah,
the Russian community's been interesting in that when you look at it, it's kind of kept the Quake scene alive, and it's because it's got usually the biggest amount of players and the most active scene in pretty much all the Quake 3 kind of mods, and even Quake Live, Quake Champion seems. What is it about Russia and Quake? Uh, why do you guys have such a big population of Quake players? You look at North America, for example, or the United States has a big population of people, but it has a pretty low population of Quake players.
I'm not sure. I would think that it was related maybe to a bad internet connection, and yeah, people were playing in how is it called? Like in the I think in Russian it's called computer clubs. So basically, when you
Oh,
come,
LAN cafe.
yeah, LAN cafes, yeah. And it was quite easy to run Quake or Counter-Strike there. So, and it wasn't that hard as StarCraft as a game. Like the gameplay wasn't that hard. So people were keep coming there, and yeah, and it's actually when some games like Battlefield started to come out and stuff like this, you had to pay for it, and you hadn't pay you didn't need to pay for Quake because you can easily steal it and play. That wasn't a big deal. It was quite easy. And yep, and there were servers online, and there were people playing, so you just join and play. And it wasn't. I don't think it was like this with the games like Battlefield or Call of Duty. I'm not sure. I think one of the Call of Duties was like quite popular, but when everything started, it wasn't that. You couldn't open the server browser and join a game. I don't think it was like this.
Hey, this is a question I haven't thought about until now, by the way, so I'm going to ask you, this is completely unrelated to everything so far. Phil is Russian, right? PHL?
I think so.
What's his relationship like with PM.ru? Because it seems, I don't know, it's hard to tell because usually when you type in Russian, I can't figure it
out. I think he's not very
on friendly terms. Yeah, he doesn't seem on friendly terms sometimes with the PM.ru, and I don't know why.
Because he's not from Russia, I guess.
He speaks Russian?
Yeah, he's Russian, but I think he's from abroad. So he's not from Russian. He's not from CIS region. He lives somewhere else.
Because he's another really good Russian blend, like maybe one of the best, probably the best CTF player ever, in my opinion.
Isn't he from Cyprus or Malta or something like this? Greece, maybe. Yes.
But he's Russian. I don't know if he was his parents are Russian and moved to Greece and he was born there, or he would moved to Greece when he was younger, or he just works in Greece and he was born and raised in Russia. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think as long as he's in the CPM, he was not living in Russia. He's he was living in Greece or whatever it is. So yeah.
Did did the Russian community have any particular feelings towards Phil, or was just confusion like with me?
I'm not even sure. He's not a part of the community, so he probably
Did you ever play him?
I'm not sure. Maybe I've played him, and I think that he was helping to organize one of the tournaments or something like this. I remember we were talking about something for some time. I think it was a tournament, but I don't remember which one was it when it was. So yeah, nothing I can tell. I cannot tell a lot about him also. So yeah.
All right, we might as well just start talking about PM.ru, because that's been a big part of the CPM history, and you've been in it in a long time. So you told us earlier you kind of started once you found CPM, you end up finding the pickup channel. Although I think it's interesting the way you found CPM. When I was speaking to Gaia, he said a very similar story that he lives in a relatively small town, and one of his neighbors actually knew what CPM was introduced into him, and that's how he got in the game. And your story sounds very similar to his. What was the early Promode.ru scene like? Who was kind of organizing things? And are there any funny stories or any particular dramas that you remember?
It was the community was very small. It was maybe 15 people. So okay. There were there were some clans back then, and yeah, one of them was quite big. It was probably, but they were not. I'm not sure where they were how they were communicating with each other, because I don't think they were an IRC. So in IRC there were the guys who were playing some international tournaments. So it was the PMRU team with Slim, Zanuch, Acid, and Dream. So they were one of the best players back then in Russia. Yeah. They were the best in Russia, I guess, the fourth best in Russia. So there was that guy with the nickname LBZ or Lazy Bones. He was actually writing articles in that magazine I learned about the frag from. Okay. He was writing news for Cybersport site, which was called Cyber.
Yeah, it was Cyberfight.ru. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was writing articles and news for them, Yeah, so there was from active guys there was a Notorious. He was like one of the main, like one of the leaders of the Russian Promode community. So
The same
it was
guy
not.
as today? The same
Uh,
Notorious that's playing today?
yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So same Notorious. I think he had a break for like 10 years in between those
That's
points.
fair.
So yeah. So he was like one of the leaders of the community. It was a Kurilka who was like also a developer of CPMA. So he was also one of the leaders of the community. And there was Mood, who was also like one of the oldest guys playing, and he was like in the community. They were like, I think he's a Notorious friend. So there were some guys, and there was like that separate community in a city called Samara. So they had their own community, a lot of players playing, and I think they were playing in a LAN cafe or something like this, because they were gathering. Sometimes there were like people from some different cities in Russia. They were coming to Samara, and they were playing together. There were pictures in Promode. I think you can still. I'm not sure if you can find those. Maybe Notorious have those pictures. It was, yeah. It was a long time ago. So there was that community, and then there was like and also there were like one more. Sometime after that, like in 2000, I don't remember, in 2005 or something like this. One more community in Russia actually appeared in Novosibirsk. So they were also playing CTF or CTFS or something like this. I don't know. So probably someone set up a server and people started playing. And there were a lot of players from Novosibirsk, and there were a lot of players from Voronezh. So people are. And it wasn't like there was one guy from here and one guy from there. It was like 10 guys here, 10 guys there. So it was comparing to what we had in the beginning. It was quite a big amount of people
Yeah.
joining. Yeah, so some of them were leading, some of them were playing, and at one point, I think the Russian community was even more active and more. It's like bigger than the European one, and it was
Yes.
a lot of pickups going on because everyone just joined the Promode RU channel in IRC, and was like, I don't know, 60 people and or something like this, and a lot of them were active, not just hanging around, you know, from all over the Russia, well, up to obviously up to Siberia, because yeah, being further is like insanely bad. Yeah,
This is around 2005?
I think so. It was like up. I think the peak was at 2000 and maybe 8, 2007, 8, 9. I don't remember exactly, but there was time when like everyone was joining, step by step. Like some guys coming from there, like next guy, some next year, some guys are appearing like from different city. Some OSP guys were trying to play also, like, yeah.
What was the relationship or the general kind of feelings like between the Promode.ru community and then the VQ3 Russian community? Because the VQ3 Russian community was very good and had a long history of producing like just champions. Like, you look at Lexa, Kula, Unkind, just lots of really good players. What would the relationship like? Was there a relationship between these two communities? And I guess if there was, what was that like?
Well, it was probably hate mostly. Yeah. So
Really?
regarding communities, what I really liked in CPM in Promode RU, and I think it was like this even in European community, and it was quite friendly. And when you're playing someone, you won't ever get some rude
Yeah.
words from your opponent. So everyone's like, all the people are awesome. Actually, they're never gonna hate. Like not hating you, not like swearing inside like in the game or after the game. They're like everyone is awesome, and there were actually some people that were rude, and there were just got banned fast in IRC, and that's it. So the whole community was quite friendly, and in OSP, in Lithuania or in Russia, I don't even know if they had communities, like, because there was so much hate in the people in OSP. I don't know where it comes from, but it's like you never know. Like, if just if a guy who like, if you win a guy, you don't ever know, like, if he's gonna insult you, like, after the game. It's like, and most of the times they were like just insulting you or something like this. So there was I don't think there was a lot of interaction between OSP guys and CPM guys until VQ3 moved to CPMA from OSP.
Yeah.
And some guys were arriving to try CPM, and there was a lot of discussions, and I remember there were a few sites appearing about Quake, and there was a lot of discussions there, and there was a lot of argument between CPM players and VQ3 players, and most of it was just a flame. How bad like VQ3 is, and how bad CPM is, like that CPM is random, there are no timers, and stuff like this, and VQ3 is terrible because it's like it's much worse than CPM because there is no movement, and in CPM there's a movement as a thing, and you have to like focus on other stuff, and it's faster than VQ3, so you have to like have better reflections, like reflexes and stuff like this. So there was a lot of argument there, and I don't think people enjoyed, like, not enjoyed, but there were not. I don't think people were talking to each other much between. Like, there was still not so much interaction between those communities.
Is there any interaction that happens today between these two communities?
I think that the ones who like VQ3, they are just playing it, and the ones that don't like it, they just keep playing CPM. I think there is just no place to fight, and there are not so many people left,
Fight with.
in Quake Life and in CPM. So there's a new game, right? The Quake Champions, and
Right.
some people enjoy it, and we have like we still are keeping our Promode RU community, and we have we just have a Quake Champions channel, and all the discussions about it is like we're doing it like in our own community. I'm not sure if but if you want, like, with other people, I'm not sure if they're joining other communities, because I was checking those other Russian communities. There are some Discord servers for Quake Champions. I was like trying to play with them for a while, but it was like totally disorganized. It was quite hard to find a game. So I see those channels are still opened in my Discord, but I haven't opened them. Like, I haven't read them for a while.
What do you think of Quake Champions?
I think it's okay. The only thing that I don't like is, and it quite annoys me, is how it's done. How it was done technically, like how it's done technically, like that from software engineering side, that it's like not optimized, freezing, and netcode is terrible, and I don't like the idea that guys who are developing it, right? So the Saber Interactive, they had no such experience before, and I don't think they had, like, how would they, like, how do they provide a great netcode, right? If they the only multiplayer game that they were doing is like some Hello, like, multiplayer shooter or something like this.
And I don't think that was ever released.
Yeah, it was beta. It was a beta for a long time, and then it was closed. So because of like technical problems, because it was buggy or something like this. So yeah, I'm not sure how it like. I don't agree with the decision like to give the development of Quake Champions to those guys, because it was very questionable decisions. Decision. On the other hand, like if we take the ID software, it wasn't perfect. Also, like all the netcode stuff, because I'm not sure like about Quake World, if the netcode is modified right now from how it was, like how Quake World worked like 15 years ago or 20 years ago. But if you check the CPMA, right, the default Quake code is Quake 3 code. The netcode, the code itself, like wasn't great. So
that's true. Like, but Quake, I imagine between 1999 and 2017 that they've learnt a lot.
Exactly, but
they can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Quake 3 was released in 2001, right?
No, 99. December
really?
99, yeah.
Okay, December 99. Okay, it was released in December 99. The thing is, like, yeah, first of all, the guy who wrote a great netcode for Quake was Archon. And the guys who were developing Quake in 1999, I don't think someone from them is still there. It's like even Carmack left,
No, yeah, that's true, but generally I think people have gotten better as a whole writing netcode, and they just found the people that, I don't know, they're not writing very good netcode. It doesn't seem like.
I'm not sure. A lot of games like.
Well, look, they have Quake Live. They have Quake Live, and that has good netcode. It's not.
But it actually it hadn't. Like I think in the beginning it was terrible. It's like what they did is like just they took the Quake 3, throw out all the work which was done, like which Archon has done for like a lot of years, just put the code from Quake 3 to Quake Live, and it was terrible. And I think, were they like hiring Archon to consult them?
They hired Archon for a bit, but what happened is during some time of his contract is when Archon kind of disappeared. So I think Archon did some work for them, but I don't think he ever finished anything for them. So, but I think Syncera and its software still have access to the CPMA netcode, so like it's not like it's not that they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like the resources are available for them. So I don't like the idea that because a couple of people have said this, like its software, Quake 3 when it came out had bad netcode, and same with Quake 4. But is every Quake just going to come out with shit netcode after 20 years of Quakes? That seems kind of weird as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And earlier it was possible to fix it, like community could fix it, by writing a modes. Like even in Quake 4, I think there were modes, right? And like, yeah, and in Quake Champions and Quake Live, you cannot do anything. It's like,
what do you think of the duel? Let's put the technical issues aside. Let's say technically the game was fine. What do you think of the idea of the game so far? Like the idea of the duel mode and sacrifice, champions and abilities, that sort of stuff.
That is kind of interesting. This I don't have anything against it. It's like it's just a different game, It adds some, that's different stuff, different strategies. I wish they, from what I've seen from different tournaments, it's like what it's missing is like a bigger range of champions that are taken by players. Okay. Yes, because this might be, because imagine everyone would have picked their own champions. The game would be more interesting from the strategy point because like you know that against this guy I have to do this, and this guy plays a different style and different champions and everything is very different, and it would be easier, I think, to understand from observer point of view. Like
If there were more champions, you're saying, or if every guy had just... Sorry.
It would be easier to understand the style. For example, there are also different styles of how people are playing in like CPM. Like ones that there are guys who are pressing back, there are guys who are pressing plus forward, right?
Yeah.
But there's like when you're watching from the side, yeah, if you are an unexperienced player or like a spectator, you would like it would be hard to understand because they are the same. And imagine like if you could build a strategy around champions, for example, then it would be obvious that okay, this guy takes aggressive champions, this guy takes like tanks, so he's probably
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So yeah, and this has like an addition, like some on the skills have some additions to the strategies, and I don't know, I kind of like it. Sadly, I cannot play a lot of it. I don't have much time. One thing, and another thing is like it's freezing. You know, it's like I don't have a computer to play it, so I need to buy a new one, and it's kind of weird, like to buy a computer just for one game.
For one game, I know.
Yeah.
I have the same issues. Like I can kind of run it okay, but not comfortably enough for me to be happy with it. So it's just like, do I really want to spend $300 on a new graphics card to play this? Not really, because if I don't like it, then I'm going to be like, why the fuck do I have a fucking brand new graphics card for CPMA and Dota? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because that's the only two games I'll probably end up ever playing, that's the truth of it. Sorry, go ahead.
So, one more thing that was missing, right, which was, I think it was crucial, is a matchmaking, and I think it should have been done like one of the first, it should have been one of the first features in Quake Champions, and it's awesome actually that they just released it, but it took like a lot of time to do this now. So yeah, before this, there was a matchmaking, right? So, but now but the problem of it was that you're playing like a lot of the time, like more than 90% of time, you're playing against newcomers. And it's neither interesting for you or for them. So for you, it's like waste of time. They might learn something from you, but it's like
most likely not.
But it's like the level of difference is that huge, and it's not interesting for you. So you have like the only thing you want, like you just want to, finish it much faster and just go find a new one. But now with the ladder system, it might be quite interesting, and you wouldn't have to waste much time playing random
I don't
guys.
know if it's going to sustain interest. That's the real issue, it seems like, with Quake Champions. It seems to be able to get people's attention, but they don't seem to stay there for very long. Even off the initial launch, that's something like 2,500 people playing at any given time. It's like, okay, not bad now. Imagine if you could grow off that, but unfortunately everything's just been going the other way. And I don't even know if ranked ladders can help you at this point. I think they should have really taken their time with it, and they sort of rushed it feels like, and I don't know why, because why would they rush a Quake game? Nobody's waiting. You know what I mean? There's no big market of people saying, we need a brand new Quake game right now. Nobody really cares, to be honest with you. Right?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe they had some deadlines and they were trying to hit it before QuakeCon or something like this.
I mean, like, there's been like 10 QuakeCons that went by without anything about a brand new Quake was said, and nobody seemed to care. Everybody was okay with it, and now all of a sudden they're rushing one out. It just seems very strange. Something strange is happening at id Software. Don't know what it is, and I hope they get. It seems like a lot of like HAL 9000 is playing a lot. And he seems to be enjoying it, so that's, hopefully he's able to succeed and get some money off that. That'd be dope. Let's go back to PM.ru. Are there any, so, you've told us who the early people who were, kind kind of organizing things and how things were going. It kind of peaks out around 2008 and 9. Then what seems to happen after that? Why did the community starts to slowly fade away? Is that right?
Like I'm not sure. Like I'm still not sure about the 2008. I don't remember when it actually was like the peak.
Around,
But
let's say.
yeah, but the fade away. I'm not sure. Just people, grow up and they have something, or just find other games like Reflex came out after some time. It wasn't like 2000 what 15, 16. Yeah, but it also drained some people, I guess. Yeah, just people grow up and they leave. Like, I'm probably still here, but I'm not that active also. But I just, don't have life, so I can spend some time in Quake. But most of the people have life, they have wives and, and children and stuff like this. So they don't have much time to play Quake. And the further, like, the older the game, the more people will be like this. So I think this is why everything like it fades away. So all the four guys who were like the best in the Russian community in 2003 when I came, they left the community in like 5 years because everyone was like 28 or something like this by that time, and they had works, they had different hobbies, they had kids, I guess, someone just building a relationship, which takes a lot of time. So, yep, I think this is the main reason.
But we've seen a bit of resurgence in the past couple of years. What do you think has helped the resurgence of CPM in the past 2 years? Because it's kind of come back a little bit now, it feels like. And it's definitely not as bad as it was a couple of years ago where it was completely dead.
I'm actually not sure. Maybe there was for example this year in the beginning, all the Russian pickups were quite dead. There were few guys playing, and then all the dinosaurs, everyone who left in last 10 years or something like this, they were just started to come back one by one, just getting back to the community and started playing pickups. So there were, I think, a few months of very active playing, and then just everybody left again. But yeah, we see some new players. I don't know. I have no idea how they find out that anything about CPM. I'm not sure. This is a hard question.
I think Quake Champions has helped a lot, and I think to a certain degree, I think Quake Champions has helped. It seems like a lot of the dinosaurs, as you put it, seem to have come back because of Quake Champions. It's kind of the old signal has gone out, and everybody's kind of rallying around Quake again, at least for a little bit. But the sad thing is they just didn't have the product ready to kind of keep them there, because I think a lot of them are in that state in their life where they're just like, okay, I'm a lot more settled now and I have free time again, so I want to play some Quake.
Yeah, maybe. Not sure.
Who's the best Russian player? We didn't completely cover this. Who do you think the best CPM Russian player of all time is?
Of all time?
Yeah, all time.
I would say Pico. He was
Okay.
he was the best. But there is also there was also Polosati, for example, who was quite good. But it was 2002, so it was quite some time ago.
Was he good against the Poles? Because this is 2002 is when you have a lot of good Polish players. I don't remember seeing any. It's hard finding tournament results from back then.
Sorry.
Do you remember if he beat any of the good Polish players back then?
I
don't know.
I think he won some of the online tournaments with quite some good players. But I haven't been there, so I probably Notorious could answer this question. Yeah, but it might be. I'm not sure, but yeah.
So your answer was What did you didn't say? Did you say Pico?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What made Pico so good?
Hitting rockets in the face, I guess. And he was.
Who was the best European player at the time when Pico was playing? Let me ask you that.
I think Hal was.
Hal? Okay, so is this around 2008? 2009?
Yeah, something. Yeah, maybe even earlier. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. Pico he was playing more strategically. His playstyle was more calm, so it's like the Russian plus back and stuff like this arrived then. He won against Toxter, for example, also, and against Hal.
Oh, those are big names.
Yeah. So he won against every. Like, I think there was a moment when he just crushed everyone. Yeah. He was rushing. He was hitting hard. He was spamming a lot of rockets, and it wasn't that he only hit in the close fights, but he also did some control stuff, like he was controlling zoning out people. And when you're playing against Pico, and when you check your scores after the game, he was like, you shot like 150 rockets, and he shot like 250. Comparing to you, so it's like 100 more comparing to you. He's like, taking rocket launchers, ammo, and just shooting those corridors. Yeah. And he was quite successful, I guess, at this.
Are there any Russian players that I guess the EU community or the NA community never heard about or saw, but were really, really good?
Let me think. I can try to give some names. For example, Kane was quite good.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Kane, Caine, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
no, we were familiar with Kane.
All right. So there was also Hoyden, but I think he like European community is also familiar with him. But I'm not sure. He was like, he had a bad ping in even to Moscow, so he's like. He had even worse ping in Europe, but he was quite good. He was also he was quite fast-paced player and hitting hard, I'm not sure. I can't name like anyone like this right now. It's like a very tough question.
Were there any kind of TDM or CTF specialists in the PM.RU community that maybe weren't very good duel players or didn't play duel, but when it came to team games they were incredible?
I'm not sure because let
me ask you this:
all the TDM lineups were made out of duel players. Like probably I can tell, for example, Lisk wasn't that good in duels, but he was awesome in TDM, and he was not playing CTF at all. So, and there were some players that were better here but worse there. But I wouldn't say that.
How serious was CTF taken by the PM.RU community?
I think it was like the.
Sorry, go ahead.
CTF pickups were like probably the most popular. CTF and later NTF also was popular. So it was more popular than TDM. Yeah. For me, for example, the explanation would be that TDM without like proper team and communication is just free for all with 2 teams. And CTF actually adds some strategy and tactics, to 4 random guys who are just because they're like having their position, trying to not lose the flag, and trying to do some cooperation,
Me and Dees, but we play a lot of CTF, and we have this joke about what we call the Russian style of CTF. Have you ever heard of this Russian style of CTF? What other people think the Russian style of playing CTF is?
Actually, nope. Never heard about it.
Okay, so when me and Dees, we talk about playing like Russians or playing like the Russian style, is usually having 2 attackers and then having, a mid guy that's kind of focused mainly just on killing, and then like a flag defender that's like hyper aggressive, almost playing a second mid. And that's how we characterize, like, the Russian style. Like, when you are playing against a much weaker opponent, like, it is absolutely devastating, because the flag D can put so much pressure into the mid area. It makes it very difficult. There's like a vacuum behind him in there. It's just impossible to break mid. But when you're playing against, like, tight games, I don't know if this is actually a thing. But in pickups, we've both noticed this, and we've seen this kind of happen independently. You know, I never said, "Oh, do you think this?" We both we kind of said it at the same time, and it's just like it's really when I play with Russian flag defenders, like they always play really, really aggressive. Is this a thing in PM.RU? Like, have you ever noticed this, or I don't know. Tell me how accurate you think this description is.
I'm not sure. Maybe something changed. Maybe players changed in last years, and I haven't played CTF a lot.
Okay.
So I've played some NTF matches, like NTF pickups, like half a year ago. Yeah.
Even NTF, like
yeah.
Russian flag cat defenders, I find are like the most aggressive, forward-standing. You know, like they push as far forward as possible.
That's interesting. Yeah, this is quite actually a good strategy. I wouldn't describe it as Russian style, because I remember we were playing a tournament, and when you're in CTF tournaments, and when you're playing against Noobs Anonymous, who are like probably the best team,
yeah.
CTF team.
Yeah.
This is what they were doing. They just, they were coming to
What was the score in that game? Do you remember?
No, but even in close games, they're like they are so aim heavy, and they're so trying to rail you a lot in the middle, so you wouldn't be able to pass it without a hit, like the middle. And it was very good strategy. For example, in Spire Crossings, right, in WCP 9.
Yep.
Because like there is only one mid. And if both guys with rails are coming like to the upper floor and to the lower floor, they're just hitting hard. It's insanely hard to go through this. And then the other team, like who's like getting pressured, they have to do the same thing. So their defenders have to fight with other defenders to push them back to their base, so attackers could pass the mid. So this is very interesting, and you can do this if your aim is very, very good. So basically, if you don't hate rails, this won't work. You have to like change it. Yeah. You have to change strategy.
The second you miss 2 rails in a row, there's 2 people in your base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're both in mid. You're fucked.
Yeah, and we were actually trying to do the same sometimes, and it worked. And yeah, this is as you say, this puts a huge pressure on the opponent's team, and if they're like cannot do anything in the middle, they're fucked.
Who are some of the best CTF players in PMRU?
I am.
Okay, you. Valiaz. Ludo. But you know what's funny? A lot of the Russians, like the really, really good Russian CTF players, are defenders. Like, who is the really good Russian CTF attacker? I guess maybe Dez. Or okay, Phil. Phil as well. Phil is like, I think the best CTF player ever. Like, he's ridiculously good.
It's hard to say because now we have no like there are like pickups. If you're good at pickup, it doesn't mean you're actually very good because when things come to tournaments, like there might be you might have some problems with this, and you won't be as valuable as you are in the pickup. I think like there was a good attacker. One of the best attackers in the Russian community was Zanuch. He was playing with Noob. Yeah, he was playing with Noobs Anonymous, and then he joined like when it fell apart. He joined the Promode team, so we were playing with him. I think there was the Slim was quite good, and there is that guy who I'm not sure but he should be also known to the European community. His name is Polytech. His nick is Polytech.
Polytech! I forgot about him. Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. I think he's like he was playing a lot of years ago, also like 10 years ago or something like this. He was quite good.
Yeah,
There
he
were
was
like
really
guys
good.
like Creed and like all the guys were quite good. Like I'm not sure. And what about defenders? Like I'm not sure. I don't remember who was defending the most, but I remember that I have started CTF as an attacker because I had the movement from a defrag.
Okay.
So I was quite fast. But then drag was introduced. Um,
What do you think of flag
it
drag?
had yeah. What?
What
Sorry.
do you think of flag drag?
I think it's a good thing
Yeah, me
because
too.
because you can see what CTF would be without flag drag if you just try to play CTFS. Just very hard to
Defend.
catch a guy. If he
Yeah.
has like the momentum, like he runs on
He's
a
gone,
1,000
yeah.
DPS, it's like if you don't hit a rail, he captured. That's it. So that's how CTFS works. Um, yeah. Um, so yeah, I started as an attacker, but I think I was mostly a defender after that. Like after a few years of playing CTF. So yeah.
Notorious
Not,
says in chat, Lennox and Zanuch were the best attackers, I think, at the time. Lennox is actually a Harvard graduate now. I don't know if you know that.
yeah.
Do you have
That's
him on
kind.
Facebook?
No, I actually stopped talking with him. Like I
Really?
haven't,
Why was there
yeah, talked
beef?
with him. Like that's like, so I'm not sure how it happened, but you were like, were like, talking quite a lot when we were playing when he was active. But then he like decided to change his career. So he was like studying physics in university when he was active, and he just was struggling to finish the universities, and he decided in the end, the last year of university, he decided that he wants to change his career path, and he was quite interested in economics, so he started to work and study economics, and then he disappeared, and we were not talking like after that a lot. But yeah, he was
Ah,
quite
okay.
good. But one of the
He
reasons
was
why
okay. He wasn't quite good. I remember Lennox playing. Lennox was like as good as Zoo was. XOU. Lennox was an average player. Sorry.
yeah, oh,
So
okay.
was I.
um, it was hard to it was hard to hit him because he had a
Shitty
4,000,
connection.
yeah, shitty connection, 4,000 rate, because yeah, he couldn't allow him more,
That's the only reason he would get. Basically, Lennox was like. Do you remember the player Monty? Okay, so
yeah, I
like
think
there was this like Middle Eastern player that played CPM for a few years called Monty, and the only reason he'd ever get caps was just like Lennox, because they'd basically phase in and phase out of the game state at Game World, and they'd go from one base to another just by teleportation. Like, it was retarded. Sorry, what were we just talking about? Wait, what were we talking about? How did we get to this conversation?
we were talking about best players, like
Oh, best CTF players.
in CTF, yeah.
What do you? Yeah, do you like CTF? If you have to pick between playing CTF, like competitively, or TDM, which one would you pick and why?
I would probably pick CTF because I enjoy both modes, but I think I'm doing something wrong in TDM. It's something terribly wrong, because even if my team performs very well, it's like if it crushes the opponent, I will still have a negative net. And I think I'm trying
And you're
to do
just like, I'm not a bad player, man. Like, I'll beat you in a duel if you really want. I just don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to do the right thing, but maybe I'm just over aggressive sometimes. And I think the TDM, like in CPM and for example in Quake World, TDM is similar from the point of like shooting and aiming and weapon usage, because you have to use the weapon that you have, and you have to squeeze everything from that weapon out. If it's a shotgun,
In
you have to
TDM, you
hit.
mean?
Yeah, in TDM,
Yeah.
you have to hit hard because you have no options. You have no
Yeah,
other
some
weapon.
people are specialists. Like when they get commode, like some people become specialists with the shotgun and just doing a lot of damage with a shotgun. Like, what the fuck, man? How much damage can you do with this shit?
Yeah. So like you have to hit grenades, plasma gun a lot, shotgun, machine gun. You have to hit everything a lot. You have to
Yeah.
know how to use all those weapons. Uh, I think I was struggling with this because like my whole aim is not that good. So I think it's more like aim is quite crucial there, and yeah, and the ability to use all the weapons and be probably to be a little less aggressive. Because yeah, I think I'm dying too much because I'm like going to a wrong place or over like trying to do things that I should not do, like jumping to a quad to trying to take it or something like this, or maybe just sacrificing myself too much to help others, so basically distracting enemies away so my teammates could could take the position back by killing others. I'm not sure, but in the end, I'm trying, like I was trying to be a valuable player, but I don't think I am, and I sort of enjoy playing it as a like in a team, like tournament like games or like practices like PCW or like,
Yeah.
but not totally don't like it in a pickup. And CTF, yeah, that's why I would choose a CTF or NTF because I think that I understand, like the aim is crucial there also, but there is a bigger choice of weapons. And another thing is like I think that I understand the CTF more than TDM. So basically, I understand what I should do and what enemy does and how I catch them and stuff like this. So it's yeah.
Do you think it's possible to have a TDM or CTF league in CPM anymore, or no? There's just not enough players.
I would say that even if there will be enough players, it will still went inactive because there's like all those players are not very stable. Maybe, yeah, like yeah, I don't think it's possible. It's actually a good thing to try. No, if you won't know if you don't try. But yeah, but I think it would be hard. It would be hard, yeah, and depressing in the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be. Because it'd be cool to have like a CTF league with like fucking 12 teams, 13 teams. I don't think you need a lot of teams. And when you do the math behind it, 12 teams is only 48 players, but like finding, constantly getting 8 players to match up their schedule one time in the week, to play 2 or 3 games for that week is going to be almost impossible. I think you need a lot more players than that. You probably need probably 200 players, 300 active players to have a CTF league, because
Yep.
so you have enough players where the schedules line up, and unfortunately we just don't have that. And I don't really know how we get to that. Can we get to that? Do you think it's possible for CPM to be that active again, or no, it's just this is what it's going to be like?
This is a good question. If I could answer this, the CPM community would probably be bigger right now because, yeah, when a lot of players came to Promode RU community, I was like, it wasn't me who was doing something to attract them, so they just came by themselves. I have no idea how they found out that they should do this and how they found out about CPM. Yeah, I wish I could because, like, yeah, I enjoyed playing this game and I enjoyed CTF and TDM, and it was quite frustrating that I couldn't, play like organize tournaments or play in tournaments because there was just not enough teams out there, and yeah, sadly, I have no idea how to promote the game.
And listen, 2v2 is fun, but it's not nearly as fun as 4v4.
I don't know. I actually enjoy 2v2s, like one of.
No, so do I. But don't you find 4v4 is just a lot more fun?
I don't know. The 4v4 is more complex, like from the game from
feels like the
game
real
gameplay.
game, you know. I don't feel like 2v2 is a real game mode, like CTFS. Like.
2v2, I think the 2v2 was stronger, like the scene or like the skill of players was better before, when we were like organizing those um, Nations Cup. I think it was, Nations 2v2 Nations Cup with a lot of teams. It was quite interesting because we were practicing a lot. We had strategies, and so we could like win against even strong players who were like maybe less played together less and were just better in duels. But it took it takes like So we were practicing then, and if you check, for example, how the last tournament, it was like semi-random, like the result. There were some teams that were quite good, and like we could won, the Finnish guys could won, like it could have won anyways, and it was hard to practice against someone because it was like when you're trying to practice against someone who's like 110 to like 15 all the time. So there is not much value in such games, and in the end you have like two teams that are strong because they're just strong, because they're individually strong, and there's just no strategies, no nothing. We were like, when we were practicing with Veliars for this tournament, we were trying to set up some strategies, but in the end, like all the games were chaotic and it was less organized than it was like, for example, when we were playing the 2v2 Nations Cup, and I was playing it with a toy, the Ukrainian player. It was quite different, I would say.
Do you think it was the more recent experience was more chaotic because you had maybe less time to practice, or is it more chaotic because maybe the game, the skill level is rising and we're starting to hit the limits of the game mode, and maybe it is ultimately just kind of team FFA? Like, why do you think it was more chaotic in your more recent experience?
Yeah, I think that it's mostly because of there is no practice and people are not practicing. They're not very motivated. They're just come to CPM and play for fun. They're not trying to achieve some heights and be the best in the game. They're just go with the flow. And some of them perform better, some of them perform worse, and that's it.
If we can trick like AMD into giving us like $10,000, I think we can have like a league where people are just like, yeah, we'll come and actually try. I think in today's market, you just need money, I think, and if you have a decent amount of money and good marketing, you can have a decent community. But I guess you have to have a good product as well. People are going to say Quake Champions put a lot of money in, but Quake Champions right now is it's an unfinished product by their own admission. So, I don't think it takes a lot of money, but you need some, I think.
Look, you're saying about 10,000, right? And how much do they put already into Quake Champions in those
but they have a bad
millions?
product. Yeah, they have I don't think they have a very good product right now. I think if they had a good product, some good marketing, I think they could have had a much more stable community. Or a much bigger community, to be honest.
Well, maybe. I'm
you know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Well, we can compare CPM to, I think the good comparison will be Warcraft 3. They have some tournaments actually, but they have a stable community, but it's still small, and they have like tournaments with prize pools like $20,000 in.
Wow.
So basically, there are qualification rounds in US and in Europe.
How do they get the money for this shit? What the fuck? This is
easy.
Bullshit.
It's
how? How did?
It is popular. It's popular in China, so they have the community in China.
Okay, fuck. We need to get our community.
But the thing
in
is,
China.
like, they are doing those qualification tournaments where if you win, like only for Europeans, and if you win it, you actually go to the China. They're like give you the money, like buy you tickets, buy a hotel, and you are going to China for like a few weeks, and you are taking part in this tournament on land. So
we need to start making. You know what we have to do? We have to take the classic CPM movies and put Chinese text all over it instead of the English stuff. I'm not kidding, man. The Chinese market is ripe for an FPS game, and it could be us. Think about it. It's free, it's fast, it's fun. You know, I don't know. It seems like they like high skill games, so fuck it. Maybe that's what we need to pioneer the Chinese market.
Yeah, maybe. But for some reasons, there are actually the Quake wasn't that popular in China, so
it wasn't popular. Here's the thing. I think that's because when Quake is popular in the rest of the world, China's still kind of living in its own bubble. People don't really have the internet or computers. The Chinese, like, middle class has only erupted in the past, like, decade to 15 years. Do you know what I mean? So, like, people having, like, a home computer wasn't really common in China when Quake came out. People didn't even have internet access there, I don't think, you know?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, so.
But now they do.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if like Quake is even allowed in China.
we wouldn't sell it. We'd just give out the DES pack. We just need to find a Chinese distributor. That's all. We gotta find a big Chinese community to infiltrate, and we need like a native Chinese speaking person. And I think it's a good potential community to grab. I wonder if because there was an Asian Quake, a small East Asian Quake 3 scene for a while.
Yeah, and there were actually players in China itself. Like there was a Rocket Boy for example. Yeah.
Jibo is okay. Jibo's Chinese ethnically, but I think he was born and raised in Russia, right?
Yeah, something like this, or he moved to Russia. I don't remember. But yeah, and there were some guys playing Defrag also from China. There's actually one guy who's playing Defrag right now. Like he's taking part in those competitions. He's quite good actually, but he's alone. It's like from that huge country, like 1 billion people.
You just need 0.00001%.
Exactly. But on the other hand, imagine you are starting to promote, like you find sponsorships, you start to promote the game and then you promote it in China and then Chinese come and then just overwhelm the whole community and just win everything. And so
it's a good problem to have, players. I'll take as many as possible. There's something to talk to Mighty about.
Koreans on StarCraft, like the first StarCraft, where like there was quite a big scene in Europe and in the US, and like a lot of good players, but they're like it's like if the tournament is international and there are Koreans, like all the Europeans, they had no chance, like zero.
I think it's interesting actually when I think about it. Because I think a lot of the computers in China, for example, are probably shit computers. A lot of the LAN cafes, I don't imagine have very good graphics cards and shit like that. So they'd all be able to run, like, Quake, no problems. And I think NTF is kind of that good balance between memes and, like, skill to actually... Imagine, like, a CPM, like... client that only has NTF and that's all you get, and it's just like everything is in Chinese. I think it might be pretty funny.
Yeah, I would get one just for the lulz.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna speak to Mighty. This is gonna be the marketing plan moving forward. We need to embrace the Chinese community. We need to create a Chinese community. Take a look. I've asked this for all the other players that have come on here as well. And I've kind of asked you already, but not completely. I've asked you so far who the best Russian player is. But I've asked Gaia, Memphis, and Hal so far, who is the one single god of Promode. And I've got a bunch of different answers. So eThaD, if I had to ask you who the single god of CPM is, who would you say it is?
El Padro, I guess.
Really? That's interesting. I think you already know, but if you didn't know, El Padro, we found out El Padro had passed away 4 years ago, but we only found out like last month or 2 months ago.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I don't. I made a comment. I made a post. I think in the Discord and on ES Reality. But yeah, I spoke to his uncle like 2 months ago because I managed to finally track somebody related to him, and they told me yeah he had an accident 4 years ago and he died. But why El Padro?
Because he was actually he was just crushing everyone at the time when the Promode was very, very popular. I mean,
Yep.
when everyone was playing that, Rat was playing, Fiend was playing, all the Poles were playing, and he was like the best, I guess. So I think that's why I would pick him as the best, as the only god of the Promode.
And he's one of the, I think, maybe the only CPM player that's ever taken VQ3 seriously and then has dominated VQ3 as well. He ended up becoming one of the best VQ3 players in his era too, or in this time period, in the short period that he played. I think he went to 2 lands, and I don't think he did well at one of them, but at CXG 2003, I want to say, or 4, or something like that. Maybe 4
Yeah,
or
I remember
5.
that.
Yeah, I think he was in the losers bracket finals before the tournament got shut down.
Yeah. He performed well there. Yeah, I was watching this, I think, in GTV or something like this.
Yeah,
That was quite interesting.
yeah, because it was the first, because this is an era when CPM versus VQ3, that was a hot topic at the time. It was constantly like a rage war on ES Reality between the two communities. And El Padro was the first player to cross over from CPM side and start really beating down VQ3 players.
Yeah.
And I think...
Yeah, so
Sorry, go ahead.
I think some more guys from Promode were playing at this tournament or some other tournaments like Galaxac, I guess, and Rat also was trying VQ3 and
They never really went full on hardcore. Like, El Padro really started practicing and stuff. And like watching demos and playing with high-end players. Galasac always, like, he was kind of playing it whims and days. Like, he'd play it when he wanted to, and then he wouldn't play it, you know? Same with Rat, I felt like. They never really put their best foot forward. They never really tried, I don't think. Sorry, but what were you going to say?
yeah, I think nothing. Nothing.
Okay. So you're gonna give El Padro? Okay, interesting. I didn't expect to hear that. And so sorry. Go
actually, haven't watched those podcasts. So what other guys? Who other guys have picked?
I think people have picked. I don't remember because I haven't been writing them down. But I think somebody picked Vu. I think Vu's been the popular pick, to be honest.
Really?
I think pretty
That's
much everyone said. I think everyone said either Vu or Rat until now.
No, I was like thinking about Rat also. I haven't think about Vu because Vu is quite good right now, and I think this is because the whole level, like the whole skill, is maybe not that good than it was before, or it just looks like this. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. That's kind of unfair to say as well, because he just went into Quake Champions and he's beating like all these VQ3 players that have been playing every day for the past 5-6 years, 10 years as well.
Yeah,
you know,
but we're talking about CPM, right? So
yeah, but the point of it is, Quake is ultimately, you know, there's I think enough crossover to say that Vu is just an elite player, and he always will be at the elite level. I don't think he'll never be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. It's just, the point why I haven't picked Vu is that because at that time he wasn't like, I don't think he was even top 3. There was like a lot of competition then, like back then, and from watching demos, like from like what was the Challenge TV comp, right? I was watching demos from different tournaments, and yeah, I felt like, for example, Rat is like. There was always those final demos of Rat, El Padro, and Fiend, I guess, and Aphelion sometimes. So Galaxac, yeah. I don't think Vu was like quite playing them quite often. I don't know, for some reason.
Who was your favorite player when you were a bad player? Like when you first started, did you have a favorite player? Did you have a player you liked watching demos of specifically?
I think I was like the player I've watched demos mostly of was Galaxac, I think. But I was trying to watch different guys. Like I was just watching different demos of different people playing different maps, to learn some stuff. So I would say Galaxac, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. We're gonna move on to the next little segment here, and it's called Rapid Fire. I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of very quick questions, and you have to give a very quick answer. But you can only answer one thing as well, okay? So, what's your favorite game right now, excluding CPM?
Transport Fever.
Transport Fever?
Yeah, it's a Tycoon game. It's like the last thing I played for some time. I actually like Tycoon games. It's just the one I play right now. So, yeah.
Your favorite mod? Again, all of this excluding CPM.
Well, if we're talking about Quake, it's Excessive Plus, like different.
Oh my god, Excessive Plus! Excessive Plus was terrible. Why do people like Excessive Plus? I'm so confused. It was so. Oh my god. Okay, you're not the first person to say this, by the way. Okay, which is why I'm surprised.
I haven't played it much, but yeah, I just forgot about Defrag for a second. Yeah, but yeah, Excessive Plus, I've played it a little, I think, and it was quite fun. I've enjoyed like watching those videos where people were shooting like everything, and it's just
okay. For people who don't know, to give you an idea of how awful Excessive Plus was, in Excessive Plus, they took the machine gun, and instead of it firing bullets, it would fire rail guns at full damage. So imagine like a machine gun that shot out slugs at full damage, and the rate of fire was higher actually, if I remember. It was just somebody got really drunk and decided to mess around with all the settings, and that was Excessive Plus for you, basically, right?
Yeah, it's like shotgun shooting rails, like shaft like on each hit was exploding like a rocket. And,
yeah, it was. Yeah, it sounds like a good time if you're wasted already. Then it's a great time. Sorry, it's supposed to be rapid fire, and I'm all fired up about Excessive Plus. Who's your favorite opponent to play against?
I think it's Kane. We played some awesome games with him, like when he was like more active, and it was a lot of fun.
Who's the worst opponent? Who's the opponent you hate playing against the most?
Okay, I'll say it's Hoyden. There are like 3 guys actually, but probably he's like. It's like 4 guys.
Okay, it's okay. When you're calling out people, you can give out more than one answer. It's fine. So if we're gonna get names.
Okay, so probably I would name Hoyden like is the person I hate to play against the most, because he's like hitting random stuff, like, which from my perspective is quite random. All the time, it's like all the time. He's hitting like all the time, and that's why I don't like playing against Pico and Poops and SSHL. They're like doing, from my perspective, they are like doing the same thing. Even though it might be like they're like really have great aim, like the great prediction, but for me it's like I just hate this thing. It's like it's the thing that you just always get a rocket in your face. You cannot avoid it. And it's like in every position, like it doesn't matter how that guy flies and how you fly, and like you're always gonna get a grenade in your face in midair. It's like, this is insane.
What's your favorite? Okay. Actually, you name all of them. What's your favorite map?
CPM 15.
TDM map.
CPM. What was it? 25. Like with the huge atrium in the middle?
Wait, CPM 25 is a 2v2
no, it's not
map.
The 20, okay. What was it? 27 maybe then?
Yes, 27. 27 or 26? 26 is the...
no, it's 27. 26 was with the battle right?
Ooh, that's right, that's right. Favorite CTF map?
CPM CTF 2?
CTF2? Oh my god. That's an awful map, by the way, Dan.
Like this is the only true CPM.
No,
CTF
I don't
map,
care.
like.
It's so bad. Listen, if any, I'll tell you. I'll say this much: if you can see from flag to flag in any CTF map, it's probably not very good.
Well, that's why there are a huge amount of walls around the flag, so you
No, there are a
don't
huge
look at
amount
the
of walls. There's a skinny little fence that you can shoot underneath. In fact, there's people that have made careers by doing defending, by just sitting at their base, letting everyone take the flag, and then just trying to get that shot through the fucking creek, through the crack, and make it into a frag movie. You know what I'm talking about? That there's the couple like little angles where you can shoot from flag to flag. It feels like,
yeah.
at least from the front GA. Like it's, I don't know. Okay, sorry. Favorite wait, you said 15. Never mind. I guess. Is there any other modes? No, 1v1s. Oh, if NTF doesn't really count. What's your favorite mode?
Wow, so mode. I don't know. It's probably CTF or NTF. CTF. Let's say CTF.
CTF. What's the most recent album that you bought that you paid for?
Album?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever bought one.
You've never bought an album?
No. Oh! I think I bought. I actually have one.
Okay. Which one is it?
It was God is an Astronaut's album, and I'm not sure how it's called. It's one of the older albums.
What's your favorite TV show?
House Indie?
House Indie?
Yeah.
The fuck is House Indie? HOUSE?
Like TV shows. It's like TV shows. Like the TV series is a TV show, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite one?
This is a quite popular.
House MD. Okay,
MD,
I've never heard of
yeah.
this. I sorry, I don't. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I do.
Fuck, I want to talk about it, but then people are gonna bitch about spoilers. Never mind.
But the season has finished, right?
Yeah, it has, but then there's Magic Up. I've never had a House MD. Sorry, I live under a rock. We have some community questions as well, but I guess I'll ask you this: is there anything we haven't talked about, you were hoping we would talk about, or any questions I haven't asked you that you were thinking I would ask you, or you were hoping I would ask you?
Not really. The only thing what I was thinking that I could add is I actually tried to play Quake World.
Oh, really?
Like some years ago. What was
that like?
That was quite interesting experience. I was playing TDM. We were playing with the guys from Promode community. It's very different. You are limited to two weapons. Mostly, it's like rocket launcher and lighting gun, and it's easy to. It's like you're trying like. Those two weapons are so overpowered compared to others. It's like nothing close to what we have in the CPM, and everything is like what you want to do is like it's the whole game. The whole TDM game is more position based, and it requires like more precise control of the map, and you have to hold those positions and fight for weapons, and sometimes you get a map lock when you're just every your teammate is spawning and dying instantly. It's like for 10 minutes, and then you're trying to do the same thing to your opponent. But to get out of this shitty position, you have to coordinate your team. You have to everyone should do what they have to, and they should push the position, kill the opponent who's like holding the rocket launcher, for example, and take it, and then try to fight for armors, and without the coordination and good gameplay, like team play, it's very hard to play, and it's very different in that from the perspective that in a team play there is no team overlay, so everyone's spamming about where they are, and it's very hard. Like I would say it's very hard to play. It's much harder to play than CPM's TDM. And it's quite interesting. It was a very different experience. We tried. I think I've played 2 or 3 seasons in like TDM seasons, and I think a third time we were one of the best teams in like the lowest division, which was quite good because people in like it's kind of hard to play against people in second division or first division because they're like have 20 years of experience or something like this. Like everyone in the team, yeah. But there is like that CPM player, like I don't know if you can call him CPM, DDK. Was he a CPM? Yeah, I think he was a CPM player.
Was.
So he was quite successful in Quake World TDM. He was playing like in a higher divisions. But yeah, it's like it was very interesting. I tried to also playing duels. I actually take a part in a duel league right now, the Thunderdome League in the Quake World. It's kind of fun, but I don't practice. It's just kind of fun to shoot some rockets with a huge splash to enemies and like.
Contrast Quake World's TDM to CPM's. What is it about Quake World's TDM that makes it either better or more interesting than CPM's? And is there anything about CPM's TDM that you prefer?
So in CPM, actually, just from experience, we were playing. There was some tournament we were playing with the Promode RU team, and there was a guy with a nick Reed who was like. He was playing in our team, but the way he plays is like he just disconnects from TeamSpeak. He never joins the TeamSpeak and just crushes faces alone. Like while the other guys are.
Is it with a K?
KREED. So it's like the.
Yeah, I got you.
He was quite a strong player in TDM and duels, but yeah. Basically, he gets a lot of frags with a huge net, and he just while 3 other guys trying to control the map and communicate with each other, talk with the coach, like count all the power ups, armors, and do the stuff. And and we were winning maps, and we were like quite competitive in that lineup. And in Quake World, this wouldn't work at all because if like people will be doing like random stuff. Like even one of the guys is doing random stuff. This is not gonna work. It's more team play based, I think, and there is a little chance that you can do anything if there is no great team play in your team. If you're all the individuals will be like very good.
How could you change CPM TDM to make it more team play based? Would you change it at all, or are you comfortable where it is?
I'm actually comfortable. I wouldn't say that I want to change it. I enjoyed playing it also. So it's like it's just a different game, but it's still fun. The Quake World TDM is fun, and this one is also fun. It's just Quake World TDM might be sometimes frustrating when you're coming to it because you have nothing to shoot with, and your opponent is just hitting rockets, and you're just dying all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you mentioned that you play with a coach, and I think a lot of the experience that people have with CPM TDM and the feeling that sometimes they may get that it's a bit more free-for-all like is because I wonder, and I only had this revelation recently, I think CPM TDMs was built with having teams having a coach kind of in place, and I think team play tightens up very quickly with the coach, and I think having that fifth person that can see everybody's perspectives, I think helps make decision making a lot clearer. And I think that's one of the issues, I guess, in CPM versus Quake World TDM which is why maybe sometimes people can be off comms and do it, is that the decision-making process, I think, in Quake World is a lot clearer. So, for the entire team, I think what you have to do is a lot more obvious in Quake World than it is in CPM, where it feels like nothing is working or everything is working sometimes.
Yeah, it might be. Like, I think we were actually playing with coaches in TDM and CTF, and it's actually, sometimes it's just enough. Like, I think most of the time our coaches were just timing all the items, like red armor, quad, invisibility, battle suit, stuff like this, and maybe sometimes the yellow armor that we're holding. So, like, we were building strategy based on the map, like, if we're, like, holding red armor and yellow armor, or maybe 2 yellow armors is better, or stuff like this. Yeah, and sometimes it's just enough for a coach to just,
See, I think a coach can micromanage the players a bit more than that, than just keeping the time for them, and start telling them where they have to go and how quickly they have to get there and how much time they have to get to a certain position. And that makes the team work a lot more cohesive, because a coach can be like, okay, well, 2 players need to go through this route, the other 2 players need to go through this route, and they need to attack with the 3-second, separation between the 2 pairs. And they can see the first 2 go in, and they can tell the other next 2 to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not sure. It's like, then the coach should understand the whole game process, the whole TDM stuff. It's like,
absolutely.
They're very good. And counting items, it doesn't require this, but it still helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely helps a lot. But I think because the coach is already aware of what the item times are and what the item order is, they can make it very they can take another kind of aspect of the thinking away from the players and say, okay, you guys need to go here, 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 and here, and then it just becomes clear all the items you pick up.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
The coach could also, because they can see the order of items, they can create delays between certain timings. So instead of players immediately just picking things up on spawn, they can force the player to say, wait 5 seconds because if you wait 5 seconds, then you'll be able to pick up another yellow armor immediately after you get the quad, so on and so forth.
Yeah. But the things you are talking about is also takes a lot of practice and a lot of trust, because when coach tells you, like, you have to, delay this item for 5 seconds, and actually coach won't have time to explain the whole situation.
You just have to do it.
Yeah, you just have to do this. Yeah, you have to trust him, that it would be better. Because, you can't explain, because while you are explaining this, the other item spawns, and you have to tell someone else that there is an item spawning, and you have to go there, and, the situation changes fast. This is a fast-paced game. Sometimes I believe it and sometimes I don't. Even DDK said it, that sometimes CPM TDM is a bit too random. And I don't really know if we've really seen the best of CPM TDM ever. I don't think there's been enough community. The community's never been big enough to have competitions fierce enough where, the very, very best rise to the top. Especially for TDM. There's only ever been one real major TDM tournament in CPM, and that was in 2003. And since then, there hasn't really been any big tournaments. Sadly. I think so. There were some Nations Cup, but those Nations Cups there are some teams practicing, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was only one tournament that I can vividly remember that had teams practicing, every day, and that was Insanity in 2003.
Okay.
And since then, I can't ever remember a period where people took TDM, really, really seriously. So sorry, I'd asked you, was there anything else that I guess there was just Quake, that you had played some Quake World TDM and some Quake World Duel, but more recently, which is a bit of I tried some Quake World Clan Arena a few years ago. It's okay, it's not fun, I don't like the stairs, that's all. I really dislike stairs in Quake World. So we have some community questions here.
Alright.
And We have a bunch of them actually today. So the first question
Really?
that I got from was from Dees, aka Daps, and he says, on a scale of panic to ES, how embarrassing was the loss to Kwang?
From panic to what?
ES.
Okay. I'm not sure. It wasn't embarrassing. It was like.
Were you surprised?
I was expecting any outcome because I think the last time I played Kwong, he was like crushed me hard. I was expecting any outcome, but in the end, there were like two very, very close games, and I was quite surprised that I've lost the first map, which was like Fiox map. But yeah, it was just I'm so unused to play on ping. I was like, and I'm so unused to that. What you see is not what the reality is, and it's like, you know, the rocket that is flying it's not really there, and it's already hitting your face, and you cannot dodge it. And,
You need to dodge before you dodge. Like it's.
Yeah.
What do you think? Actually, just to kind of sidetrack from the communications for a second, what do you think of Fjogs's map?
It's kind of weird. I'm not sure. We should play it more. I think it feels like a lot of people don't like it much. There is only one annoying thing. There is that the teleporter, which you come out of and hold down to the lightning gun, which is like sometimes.
Oh, you got to double jump. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
You either double jump or most people seem to go left, but you have to go right. If you strafe right, you'll stay on the platform.
Yeah, you have to like stop or something like this, but yeah.
No, if you stop, you'll go down as well. I think you have to strafe right.
But yeah, there's a way. But if you're when you are unfamiliar with a map, if you think like for some milliseconds, you're like falling down the platform already. So yeah, this is kind of annoying part of this map. Maybe like move the teleporter or like turn it left 90 degrees or something like this, you know, so people wouldn't be falling like out of it. But overall, I would give it more time. I think it should be played a little bit more. It's sort of a round map. This might cause some problems. So basically, you can run away rounds. This should be avoided, I guess. This is not a good thing because I can do 2 frags and then just run around for 10 minutes. Yeah.
Fair enough. Santal has a bunch of questions, and he says, "Do you think being good at I think he does at least. Do you think being good at free defrag and aiming well correlates in some way?"
Maybe, but not for me. Because I use quite a high sensitivity. High, I mean like, yeah, it's quite high. So I'm bad at defrag, like not very, very good at defrag and not very, very good in CP. Maybe if you're like lower down your sensitivity, but this is like requires a huge mouse pad. I'm not sure if it's related actually, but maybe, you know, controlling the mouse might be useful for things like shooting with lightning gun and stuff like this. So you're more precise on where you put your crosshair.
Santal also asks, "What do you think is the future of fast caps?"
I think fast caps died a long time ago. I'm not sure if the fast cap site is actually works. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's like I enjoyed fast caps. I'm not sure if you guys know the fast caps is a defrag mode where you are playing CTF maps, and your goal is to bring one flag, like capture a flag as soon as fast as possible. So there are
some. We need that shit in CPM, by the way, Mighty, if you're listening. Sorry. We need that stuff in CPM too. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun mode.
Yeah, there's actually one step towards this is already done because you can see time which it takes to capture, which took you to capture the flag.
Yeah.
In CTFS and in simple CTF. But yeah, when you have a drag, it's not that fun. But without the drag, it's awesome. And I played it as strafe only without weapons in defrag.
Okay.
And I was at one time I've recorded a lot of demos, and I was first in the rating for like a few months when one of those when ZX just sent all his demos on all the maps and just got all the top ones. He was like crushing my records like very easily. That was interesting. I like it more because when you're coming to play online these days, and you're playing strafe maps, it's mostly like running forward as fast as possible, doing very fast, very not very curve, like not very high angle curve like turns or something like this. It's not. You don't have to slow down in those in the corners, so you're just keeping the pace like you're. So the idea of the whole thing is like you have to accelerate fast and then keep the speed up, so you would to beat the record. When you're playing CTF maps, it's not made for running fast. It's like take any CTF map. It's like corridors, 90 degrees turns in narrow corridors. There are places where you have to fall down. So basically, you have to. You cannot run very fast. You have to accelerate fast, but your maximum speed is like 800 UPS, I guess. It's like it's very hard to get more.
Yeah,
and you have.
It just doesn't enough space usually.
Yeah, you have to maintain trajectory right, and you have to maintain jump spacing. So near the corner, you have to land like near the wall, so you can skim the corner. To keep the speed in the corner. So there's a lot of. It's very different world, and it's very interesting. It was very interesting for me. I wish this had a future, but it doesn't seem that this is popular as an offline, like a offline defrag part. And I'm not sure if anyone's playing online. I would like to see this, people playing this, but yeah.
Next question from Santal is, why did you stop playing defrag?
Well, I didn't. I'm a defrag World Cup, and I'm somewhere like in the top 30 this time. I don't really play it much because I don't know. There is not much motivation for me there. I just run it from time to time, and I'm trying to take part in those defrag World Cups. So the last one was like 3 years ago. Was quite successful for me. I just hit the scene, like not the ceiling house, hit the new like achievement,
like personal record.
Yeah. So first thing is like I've actually finished 7th, I think, in the end, and I've won the last, and I've won the last map. So winning the map in different World Cup is like it's insanely hard, and there were like. Probably if you'll take the whole history of defrag World Cups, and there were like under 20 people who won the map, or even like less, because there are people that are just keep winning those maps. For example, in VQ3, it's even harder because there are like two guys like Dex and Shine, and they are winning those like, all the stages, one by one, and it's kind of hard to take them over. It's like
I think you might want to know about this as well, but it looks like Gaia and Terrifier are about to start playing then the grand finals of the CPM Dual League. Do you want to cast?
Cast? I'm not sure. It's quite late here, so
okay. So Sorry. I figured you might want to know anyway. Sorry. So please go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, I was like saying about defrag, so it was quite challenging for me, and yeah, I wasn't performing well for the whole cup, but in the end I won the last map, and this allowed me to get into top 10, which is like also like this is my personal best record, and in a team, I was playing with very good VQ3 player. So in a team we finished third, I guess. So this was even I had a pause before the previous World Cup. I was able to perform that well. So, but this time, as I said, maps were very, very complicated. It's like very, very complex, and it was very hard to set good records. And there are a lot of competition. There are a lot of great guys out there who are just also, for some reason, somehow finding out what the frag is and just crushing faces. Yeah.
Kimmy asks, do you have any hobbies, any sports you're into? Do you have a favorite country you'd like to move to? And when will you add to TDM?
Okay, so the hobbies. I do sports climbing, like mostly bouldering, because we don't have high walls to climb on.
Okay.
But I was on a real rock for sometimes, like climbing rocks. This was quite interesting. Also, I do this for 3 or 4 years. I'm not good there also. So, yeah. So this is probably the only hobby I have, like apart from playing like games and watching TV series. So what was the second question? Oh, the country. I would love. I started to travel like a few years ago, like visiting different countries. I haven't been to a lot of them, even in Europe. Sometimes it's quite expensive, and sometimes it's just too annoying to get there because you have to like do a plane change somewhere in Germany to get there or somewhere else. It might take some time. And yeah, so probably I would like to visit Switzerland. I think I might like it. Yeah.
Mighty's in Switzerland.
Why?
Mighty's in Switzerland, by the way.
Mighty's in Switzerland. Yeah. Yeah, I know, but yeah. That should be like this Switzerland should be quite awesome. I'm not sure about weather there, but there are like those mountains everywhere. It's like you can go hiking, stuff like this. This is cool, and the life level is like very high there. Everything's like should be great.
Kimmy asks, why do you still play Quake?
I don't know. Probably because I like it. I liked it. I played it for a lot of times, and sometimes it's kind of nostalgic, I guess, to get back. And sometimes there might be just the challenge of trying to get back and win someone. So that's why I play tournaments mostly. It's like I don't almost do no practice at all. It's like sometimes it like play against Des, but not much.
Solanki asks, is it primarily important to have a good netcode / tech for to the new abstract Quake title over cool features like combining different physics?
I would say so, because it doesn't matter what you combine and what awesome gameplay you have in the game. If you cannot play it because of technical problems, it doesn't matter. Yep.
No, I completely agree. Okay, so that's all the community questions as well, as far as I can tell. Well, Death, thank you so much for taking the time today to kind of go through this stuff with us. It was a lot of fun. This was you kind of did this on last minute, so thank you very much for everything. And I didn't really give you much of a preparation, so I apologize about that. But it was a lot of fun. It was great talking to you. I definitely learned a lot about some stuff of the early and mid CPM days that I had just no idea about. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This was like an awesome experience. It's always awesome to talk about history. If I can remember.
I agree. I think, especially for the older guys, I think they have a lot of stuff that they would like to talk about as well, which is why it's been fun doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of the podcast. Thank you so much once again, and we'll be. I don't know who's next coming on. I haven't asked anybody in a while, so we'll be back. We'll hopefully have somebody on very soon, and probably have Death on again sooner than you think.
Yep.
Okay. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.